You're now listening to MarkWHO42 from the Whoniverse and beyond.
MarkWHO42 is proud to have Famous Faces and Funnies. This is a huge, mega comic book store. I mean, they just have literally tons and tons of comic books, novelties, everything. They're located off of 3020 New Haven Avenue in West Melbourne. And if you want to give them a call and just let them know MarkWHO42 sent you, it's 321-259-3575. But this thing is just a huge, I mean, you've seen comic book stores and nothing against them, but you've seen them, you know, these tiny little shops, and they have comic books and they have merchandise and memorabilia and such like that. This place is like the best term I can put is the Costco of comic book shops. So you go from one store and there's another section, and it's just huge. They have Funkos. They have tons and tons and tons of stuff in there. I mean, it's hard to explain. But if you have any geekdom out there, Famous Faces and Funnies have got it covered for you, from Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars, everything. And also Rick is the guy who runs it, and all the team over there, nice, friendly people. And I believe they're going to be joining us at MegaCon this year. So definitely want to check out our friends at Famous Faces and Funnies in the West Melbourne area if you're out there.
Hi, my name's India Fisher. I played Charlie Pollard in the Big Finish Doctor Who series. I'm companion to the 8th Doctor, the 6th Doctor, and now I'm running around on my own with my own lovely companion, Robert Buchan. You're listening to MarkWHO42.
Welcome to MarkWHO42. Hey guys, we're here on Krypton Radio, iHeartRadio, and all the other places that we're located. I am your host, Mark Baumgarten. With me, we have my co-host,
Christian Basil, recovering from, MegaCon. Wow, that was a nice, long...
MegaCon was good, yeah.
I love it, every minute of it. And I never thought I'd live to see the day where we would be at a convention that we were hosting a panel and people were turned away due to capacity. That kind of, that was, yeah. I felt bad for the people who couldn't come in, but it was just like, at the same time, it was like, wow, that many people. I mean, the line was going way around the other rooms. I was like, geez, wow. So they all came to see us. So people were turned away. So I apologize for those people who didn't get in, but we did have other panels that people did get to see, and it was just a fun time all around.
Yeah, and I got to make a surprise appearance on Sunday.
Yeah, you did. That was nice.
It was nice. I got to say hello to a lot of people, and it was really cool. We are this week reviewing 2 episodes. We're reviewing The Pyramid at the End of the World and The Lie of the Land, the last 2 parts of the Monk story, or is it? I am pleased to welcome our panel. We've got Juan Sanmiguel of OASFiS. To tell you what OASFiS means, here's Juan.
Hello. OASFiS stands for the Orlando Area Science Fiction Society. We are a literary science fiction organization. We have book discussions and meetings every month. We're actually trying to bring back a book discussion dinner on the 3rd Saturday of this month. And we also put on a convention called Oasis. We called it Oasis because back in the day there were too many conventions in Florida, and we were an oasis of fandom, and now we are swamped in fandom with almost 60 events happening in Orlando, which I do trace in our newsletter, The Event Horizon.
So you're like an oasis in the middle of the swamp of Florida.
That's what it sounds like now, particularly
like.
in the swamp of conventions.
It's still an oasis out there because
you're an oasis.
Very different from the other conventions. Very, very different, and mostly literary. And you had Faith Hunter out there. I didn't get a chance to see her, unfortunately, but yeah, we had a great time.
Oh, yeah, she was a great writer. She was fun. The only thing is she didn't want to do Wait, Don't Tell Me. I respect her reasons for not doing it. We have our own Spanish version of the NPR radio show, Wait, Don't Tell Me, which is done by our friends in the West in Tampa at Necronomicon. They came up with it, and I said, could you guys do it for us? And they said, sure. Wow. And they come up and do it for us, and that's Perry Bruns. Plug out to Perry. He's a really great guy, and he essentially does Wait, Don't Tell Me for fans.
Wow. We also have Neisha Mulchan of Diversely Geek. Neisha, tell us a little about it.
Hello. Hi, Christian. Hello.
Hey, Neisha. Yeah, another person who joined us out there at MegaCon, and I got to give her props. At the last minute, we had some staffing issues, and Neisha was kind enough to come out for the last. Was it day? Yeah, 2 days. Last 2 days. It was Saturday and Sunday. And did you have a good time out there?
Oh, I always have a good time with you guys. Y'all are crazy.
Yeah, we are.
That's an understatement.
I love the crazy, so I'm good. It was interesting because we'd kind of chosen to step back and just see MegaCon from the other side instead of, having our own things going on. So you guys pulled me right back in. I had to work.
We're the godfather of shows, I guess.
Yeah. It was fun. You guys know that Doctor Who is pretty much, aside from Wonder Woman, my longest running fandom, the thing that really brought me into the world where I am now.
Actually, I got a question. When you say Wonder Woman, comic or TV show?
I started out with the comics.
Great.
I started out with the comics, and then the TV show came because I'm a little bit older, and then from there went on. So for me, this was kind of huge swell of happy. So it's the same with Doctor Who, of course. I run an organization which you guys are part of, and you know what we do. We promote positivity, unity, and diversity through fandom. And, fandom for us is anything that helps you to embrace who you are, helps you to feel passionate about life in a positive way, of course, So whether you're a Doctor Who fan, a Wonder Woman, DC, Marvel, or whether you're an architect fan, as long as it makes you happy in this world and it helps you to embrace yourself, accept the people around you, and then bring that fandom passion into your everyday action. That's pretty much our mission. And what we do is we go out to cons and we host panels with people in the fandom world and bloggers, podcasters, etc. Patty's been on my panels, and I'm waiting to get the two of you on there.
Well, I'm willing. I'm ready and willing.
Basically, what we do that, and then we're working on a documentary for the last 2 years, which pretty much no one's seen yet because we're in film editing, that really brings together our experiences over the last 2 years of the journey from learning to embrace our own fandom, accept who we are, and really learning how much it can change your life for the positive. And it includes, people we've met on journey with over the last 2 years, including quite a few actors, some of whom you guys might know. So, ultra secret project.
It's a secret.
So, when it hits the screens one day, everybody will enjoy it. We are going to be at SuperCon, I think, with you guys this year. Yeah. We're also heading to San Diego Comic-Con. We should be finding out shortly if our panel was accepted at San Diego Comic-Con. Ooh,
all right, folks. Let's start off with The Pyramid at the End of the World. I'd like to say that this was written by Stephen Moffat and Peter Harness. Now, Peter Harness has written The Zygon Invasion. He co-wrote The Zygon Inversion, and then he wrote a little story that we had, MarkWHO42 had a slight problem with, Kill the Moon. What do you think of
Slight
this Peter
problem
Harness guy? Slightly had a problem. I'm trying to be diplomatic.
Episode,
I really didn't have a problem with Kill the Moon. I mean, it was different. I mean, the thing is, I saw it in an unusual way. I actually showed it to people after it was broadcast at Necronomicon, and I just thought, it's an unusual story. I mean, the ending was kind of like, quirky, but it's different. I mean, I haven't really hated an episode of New Who since Fear Her. It takes a lot for me to not like a story, and there was just something really odd about Fear Her. But Kill the Moon, I mean, I think they were trying to make a point, and it was kind of an interesting tension between the Doctor and Clara, which kind of got resolved the next episode. So,
and I got to say, I enjoyed the acting. We've had 3 of the actors from Kill the Moon on the show, and they were lovely. Tony Asoba was on. I do like the actors in it. I thought the story was, the moon being an egg, and then it hatches, and then
Actually, that story has been used at least twice that I know of.
Well, yeah, so it not an original idea. So, but Doctor Who isn't based on original ideas in a lot of episodes. But let's talk about Pyramid at the End of the World, because this was an interesting story. First of all, let me go with scales of 1 to 10. What do you guys give it, Christian?
Okay, I would give it overall a 7.5 for execution.
Okay, Neisha?
And it is The Pyramid at the End of the World, right?
Yes, Pyramid at the End of the World.
Oh, my goodness. I actually am probably going to be agreeing with Christian. Visual, execution, good, story. So I'm going to go 7.5 probably.
All right, Juan?
I'm going to go for an 8. I think it was a good story. It's a good solid B. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, again, there's nothing that really stuck out with it that would take it down to a C or, lower than that.
I'd give it a 7.58. There were sections of the episode that moved a little too slowly, and that's actually kind of weird because it was pretty fast-paced. But I saw some moments that it kind of, are we done yet? But I still liked the episode a lot.
Well, the only thing that kept coming into my mind is I know we've had aliens throughout time try to screw up people, and at first I couldn't accept it, and it's solved in the next episode. But I was like, okay, if these guys were around the beginning of the time, they must have come across the silence at one point or another and pissed each other off at some point.
But they weren't from the beginning of time.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
Remember, if you remember, and we talked about this in we talked about this in the last episode. It was a recent occurrence of the virtual reality that was in the episode before it, but it covered the span of the entire universe. But it had only recently been constructed and enacted. The monks weren't there. Whether their research included the silence, or maybe they couldn't remember the silence.
Yeah, that's the thing. Nobody remembers the silence except, I forgot how the doctor, I don't know if it's the doctor, I don't remember how the companions, I know they're marking themselves with how many times they've seen the silence, but how do they remember that they've actually seen them where everybody else forgets? Then again, that's 3 years ago or 5 years ago now at this point.
It was a while. Moffat and continuity, though.
This issue is resolved in the next episode because it was only a short amount of time. They weren't
right.
human history. They were just manipulating the memories of human history.
They were using Photoshop, but that's next half of the that's next half of the episode. We'll talk about that a little later.
Of the human race.
We'll be talking about that a little later.
We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
We're getting very ahead of ourselves.
We gave the human race a human mulligan. So I'm like, wow.
Well, I mean, and I think in the pyramid at the end of the world, they make the human race and the leadership, and mind you, the defensive leadership of the human race, NATO, they make them extremely manipulative and extremely emotively on a wing here. I mean, goodness gracious me, how easily did they succumb to the decision-making process based on emotion? I mean, what did you think?
I'm just getting tired of this plot line where the doctor's right, the human race is wrong, they're all screwed up and everything. And so at one point, when he's going to confront somebody, to me, there's this running long thing now throughout the series going back to the Brigadier. And that's what I liked about the relationship between the Brigadier and the doctor. It was always challenged. Now, at this point, it is humans are dumb and the doctor's right. And I'm thinking to myself on two levels. One, hasn't the human race learned to listen to the doctor at some point? I mean, they just seem to just keep on going, okay, the doctor has this, they know this, he's the intelligent, he's the president of the planet. And they just say, no, we're not going to listen to you. I'm like, okay, what was the point in that? Why have the president if you're just going to disavow him? And it just feels like they're giving no credit to the human race. I mean, every time there's like a character or an evolution or something going on, and it seems like the militaristic human race, the part where people are in the military, are not evolving. They're not smart. I mean, the doctor knows everything and the military doesn't, and then when they try to struggle and fight back, they lose. And I'm like, at some point, I'm just like, I got friends in the military. I would feel they would be insulted.
Well, I was insulted, and I have family in the military, and I'm not swinging either way when it comes to that. I'm saying, 100% saying to you that we had this huge collective defensive force that protects the universe at large. You're telling me this is how you're going to represent them? I mean, it so minimalizes, like you're saying, our abilities, our capabilities, and how we can set aside emotion to really look at a greater good. And yeah, after how many years with the doctor, why do we not know how to handle that at this point? These people didn't become leaders for nothing, right? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I have to, obviously it was a point for me that kind of failed. It was not just that point, but it was this, I'm sorry, but I'm going to jump into it, man. This scientist who was literally the worst scientist in existence, that he allowed this nonsense to happen. I'm like, what the heck? What is up with this guy? I mean, he has like this whole fate of our ecostratosphere in his hands, and he gets drunk and this is what he does, I'm sorry.
But I think you're all missing the most important question of the episode. Will Bill and Penny ever have a successful date? That's the most important question in my mind in this episode. First, in a virtual reality,
that is the only
Pope
thing you can think of on this episode.
In the second...
Well, actually, that is the fun question of this episode. I mean, it's kind of sad that, in the previous episode, they didn't really even date.
No.
They had the simulation. And then when they actually really do have a date, then this crisis comes up. And, of course, the doctor needs her, or, she needs to go over there. And obviously she has a pivotal role in the outcome of this problem.
Right.
I want to see them have a successful date. And if she's leaving the show, she leaves the show to spend the rest of her life with Penny. That's how I want the show to end, this series. She gets to leave with Penny. I want her to have a good life.
So a companion leaving happy.
Yeah, that would be weird, wouldn't it?
It would be so...
Well, it happened in
For
it
the
happened
new
in the classic
series,
show.
that'd be very weird.
Yeah, Juan's right. There were a couple times they've left. I wouldn't say happy, but content. I mean, Joe Grant left with, her future husband, kind of.
The only thing that was odd about certain relationships was it was just some guy that they just met, And
Yeah, this is building up. This isn't like Leela leaving with Andred for really no seeable reason within, 3 episodes of one story.
I let it slide. I
And-
actually did let it slide.
Perry going off with Hurricanes, and
Yeah, that one I don't.
I want Bill and Penny to be happy. I want them to be happy.
Wouldn't that be a scary preposition if you had to make love with Brian Blessed?
Well, Mrs. Blessed would beg to differ with you on that, so I'm not going to even go near it.
Actually, you just popped something into my head. In a novelization of Mind Warp, it was implied that Perry and Carnos came to Earth and he became a pro wrestler. And I go, man, that would have been interesting. Had Liz Sladen not died, they could have followed up on that, like they were planning to follow up on Ace later on.
Well, I mean, it was followed up on in the novels, and it was followed up on in Big Finish. So instead of 2 different conclusions, there would have been a third, and that's just too many. That's like Atlantis. 3 Atlantises. Oh, yeah.
So.
What do you think the most important part of Pyramid at the End of the World was? What stuck out in your mind?
I was starting to see a cool relationship develop with Erica and the Doctor.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's not being utilized in the next episode drove me insane. I mean, why did you build this all up? Show me this perspective life. I was kind of liking Erica to Bill at this point because it just like maybe Erica should have made that decision because she was starting. I don't know. I started seeing more story with Erica than I did with Bill. I mean, I appreciated her more being, for a better term, a companion than the other stories. And what's interesting about this, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm hoping I'm not dabbling into things that that'll scare off our audience, but is this series kind of looking into handicap awareness? Because there is a theory going around online that Bill is supposed to be autistic. That's why she is socially inept, but she can build the next SpaceX rocket. And the Doctor is going blind. And then we have a pseudo-companion like Erica who is, for a better term, a little person. So is Doctor Who going into some kind of handicap awareness program that I'm not about? And I'm not saying this negatively. I'm actually saying this positively.
We don't use the term handicap per se, just on the side of PC. So it's they just have maybe some physical disabilities. They're just a little bit different from everyone else. I like Erica very much.
She was a strong character, and not only that, but we had an interview with Kirk Yeager from Sons of Anarchy, who has a disability. And what I appreciated is that every time you see a show where somebody has a disability, it's always overcoming it and not necessarily living with it. I mean, they're disabled. There's nothing to overcome. The Doctor had to overcome the blindness, but he didn't. He dealt with it, and he dealt with it the only way he could, and he was almost accepting it at the end of the 2 episodes ago that he was blind, and that was it.
I actually was going to say that Bill had a different disability than autism, and it's been shown in previous episodes and will be shown again in this when we talk about it in the Lie of the Land. So I'm going to let it sit for a minute. What my idea of her disability possibly is, and in fact, that disability kind of solved the story at the end of it. But again, push that aside. The Doomsday Clock in this story.
See where you were going there, Mark, by the way. I see it. Go ahead.
Were we going there?
Yeah, I see where you were going with that thought process, but let's... Go ahead.
The Doomsday Clock. It said at the beginning we were at 3 minutes to midnight, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. In the real world, starting in January of this year, we were actually at 2.5 minutes to midnight. I don't want to get political, but you might be able to guess why. Because of this story, I guess, did not take place in 2017.
Well, it wasn't filmed in 2017.
Well, right. It was
likely
filmed last year, so they used last year's number, right?
Well, actually, correct me. I mean, they would have written the story. I don't know when they filmed it. I mean, obviously, it was months ago. I don't know when they ended filming.
This story was filmed in 2016.
Okay. Yeah. Are they filming the last story right now, or are they already? Is everything
it's already done? They're already done.
But then again, somebody pointed out. I heard somebody British on another podcast pointing out that there's some stuff with the Brexit and stuff that's also playing into it. It's not necessarily.
That is playing into it as well. That is playing into it as well. But Juan, you really are the scientist in this group. Can you explain to the people what the Doomsday Clock is, in case they don't know?
Oh, okay. This is rough. I mean, I'm an engineer, not a scientist. I want to make that clear. And mainly I'm doing computer programming right now, which is where I got my master's, just to let you know what my qualifications are for that statement. The Doomsday Clock was established sometime during the Cold War when everybody was worried about the war or civilization could end. So when the clock hits midnight, it's curtains. And given an estimation of, I guess, the status of the environment, et cetera, they would make an estimate on how far in minutes we are from the Doomsday Clock. I think when the Cold War ended, we had a lot of space between, and now I think the main concern isn't so much a global nuclear war, it's more climate change.
Right.
And how we're dealing with it, at least as I understand it. If any listeners have any contributions, well, mail it to Mark and he'll forward it to me. And but that's the Doomsday Clock. I mean, actually, if you read the Watchmen comic book, they kind of made a thing about the Doomsday Clock was a recurring motif.
Yeah.
Since, obviously, it was in the middle of the Cold War and the Soviets were going to attack when Dr. Manhattan disappeared.
And in this world, it seemed, and it was in I never can pronounce the name of the country. What's the name of the country that they
Turkestan?
were? Yes, thank you. Yes. Americans, Chinese, and Russians were there in that war zone. Basically, there is a crisis on the Earth of Doctor Who.
Was there actually a war zone, or was, they just, that's where they chose the pyramid
They put
to
the
materialize.
pyramid there because it was a crisis point.
Okay.
Yeah. It was to make full advantage of the crisis that was going on. This story ends with a decision because, the scientist Erica, they're trying to do something with plants and bacteria, and it goes horribly wrong, and everything on Earth is going to be wiped out, and only the monks can save them. But they won't save them unless they're asked, kind of like Buffy and vampires, where you have to ask permission to come in.
Which I never understood why they had to be asked for permission. If you're going to take over the world, take over the world. What was the goal in that? What was satisfied?
Well, my question is why even take over the world, as we'll talk about in the next half. Yeah. So, they were asking to be asked, and when people asked for the wrong reasons, they were killed. And they said the reason had to be out of love, out of pure, honest need and love. And what does...
why? What was the point in that? But what was the point of that?
Well, actually, the thing is we're jumping ahead of ourselves because that's answered in the next episode.
We're running out of time.
Juan just is answered in the next episode, so let's go to commercial break.
I can speak to it a little bit when we come back. I'm actually, because of what I do for a living, which I'll explain a little later.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll be right back right after this here on MarkWHO42.
Fine.
Don't go away. Don't go away. We'll be back with more MarkWHO42 after this.
The voice of Christian Basil, take one.
Hi, I'm Christian Basil, and I would like to provide my voice for all your voiceover needs, such as...
Okay, like an announcer.
Like a what?
Like an announcer.
For all your voiceover needs, such as animation, radio, announcements, introductions...
Now an old man.
I can even record voicemail for all the Meshuggahs that call you.
A pirate.
Arr, and it won't cost you a lot of treasure for me services. Arr.
Creepy movie voice.
Just call 407-761-2679. 407-761-2679. Or email voiceofchristianbasil@yahoo.com. Well, how was that?
That's a wrap.
And I'd like to say right now, MarkWHO42 is proud to have 9.9 Comics as a sponsor for our show. 9.9 Comics, if you're out in Brevard County, this is one of the places to go and visit. They've just started recently, and they're located off of 1284 Sarno Road in the Melbourne area. They're starting out, but I met Matt and the team, and they are just really, really, as far as customer service is concerned, phenomenal. It's a really great store. They were telling me about a point system, Mark, and forgive me, I'm not familiar with it, but that's where the 9.9 comes from. When you go to a comic book store, some comics are just laying out there loose and for everybody to read and such like that. And every time somebody picks it up, it kind of depreciates over time. Not in this store. Every comic is protected. In fact, you can't even read the comics. They're all protected for your pleasure. So if you want to keep these comics for longevity and possibly later on try to sell them to make money off of them, they have every comic sealed up and protected. It's just phenomenal. Not only that, but one of the things I love about this comic shop is they sponsor the Candlelighters of Brevard. Now, these folks are a nonprofit organization that take care of children in the Brevard area who are suffering from cancer. So if you want more information on them, go to www.candlelightersofbrevard.org if you want more information about the charity that they sponsor, and definitely go on their Facebook site at 9.9 Comics. Can't miss it. Matt and the team are wonderful. Go visit them out there and tell them that MarkWHO42 sent you.
Hello, I'm Nicholas Briggs, the voice of many monsters on Doctor Who, and executive producer of Big Finish Productions. And I'm pleased to announce that MarkWHO42 Books have joined forces with Big Finish to bring you Big Finish Audio.
There's this fellow who calls himself the Doctor, and he says he has saved me, and we are in his time machine.
You all right? I think I've broken something. What about you?
Yes, I'm fine, thanks.
I rather think I broke your fall.
Oh, sorry.
MarkWHO42 Books will now offer to bring you the best in Big Finish audio.
But why are they here?
How do you do?
I beg your pardon?
Oh, no need to. I'm the Doctor, and this is...
I am Leela.
By all means, please do come out to play, Doctor. I'm waiting for you.
To find where MarkWHO42 Books will be, go to MarkWHO42.net or on their Facebook site at MarkWHO42.
What are you saying? They fizzled in somehow? Like the TARDIS?
Yeah, transmat from another dimension. The TARDIS doesn't fizzle. It's more of a...
Also go to MarkWHO42.net and download my interview with the team.
You're executive producer at Big Finish Productions.
Correct.
Correct.
Is this a quiz?
MarkWHO42, taking you to the Whoniverse and beyond.
Hi, this is Anna Van Hooft, and you're listening to MarkWHO42.
Welcome back to MarkWHO42. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten. With me is Christian Basil, Juan Sanmiguel of OASFiS, and Neisha Mulchan of Diversely Geek. And in this section of the show, we are going to review The Lie of the Land. Now, The Lie of the Land was written by Toby Whitehouse. He also wrote The Spectacular School Reunion. He wrote Vampires of Venice. He wrote The God Complex, A Town Called Mercy, Under the Lake, Before the Flood, and now he's written The Lie of the Land. Let's get this review started with our numbers. Can I have a 1 through 10 from all of you?
This is Juan. I give it a 9.
Juan gives it a 9. Okay.
I give it a 2.
Shut the door. Shut the front door. You give it a 2?
Yep.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Neisha, what's your score?
Did I stutter?
Wow.
I know, that's a wow.
Ooh, you got me stumped on that one. I actually give it a much higher rating. I'm definitely, I would say, an 8 on this, possibly higher, depending on how we're looking at it.
I agree with Neisha. I liked the episode, so I want to go to the elephant in the room. Christian, what the heck was with this too?
Don't call me an elephant.
I wasn't calling no. That would be diversely wrong.
Yep.
On top of everything, this is probably the reason why I don't like the Moffat era with Peter Capaldi. This is a representation of everything that went wrong in the Moffat era with Capaldi's Doctor. Everything. Because I think it disavows the classic series as far as the Doctor being. Everything is about, and this is what drove me insane in the season finale of Capaldi's first season, is that love was the power, love was the thing. And I was like, when did this start happening? I mean, this is not Doctor Who. And I know that it's being evolved into a new generation, but the old generation is not seeing what was so great about Doctor Who, because he was always 1 or 2 steps ahead of the bad guy. And it was always something through science. Science leads, Kate. And here we are with another love story. I hated the Doctor for pulling that prank on Bill. He would never have done it. Not the previous 12 incarnations. None of that would have happened. There is no way I would have accepted that the Doctor would have taken. Now, there's been times where the Doctor had to pull it off, and I'm forgetting the episode. Juan, you probably help me out
Invasion
here.
of Time.
Invasion Time, but also
Curse of Fenric when he makes Ace
but there
completely
was a
not believe in
device.
him.
There was a device to it. He had to make Ace lose all faith in him to defeat the monster. That's how it had to work. He just pulled a prank.
No, he did it to make sure that she was on his side. He was afraid that she was partially corrupted by the monks.
I just don't take it. I'm sorry. I just don't buy it.
He took it too far. I agree. He took it too far.
Way too far.
Okay,
no,
so Doctor is a highly volatile Doctor.
Having to shoot him and cause a false regeneration, yeah, that was too far. But we saw it coming. I was watching with my girlfriend. When we got to the part where it started, we're like, "Oh yeah, he's just testing her. He's just this is a test."
No, it was horrible. And Nardole and the Doctor are laughing. I don't see them laughing. I would have seen like Tennant's Doctor or even the Baker's Doctor and saying, "Listen, I am so sorry I had to do that to you, but I had to know for myself." He's giggling and laughing. What? He just devastated one of his companions. No, none of the Doctors, not even, I don't even think the first one would have pulled this off. No. And he was crude. No, this is what's wrong with Moffat. This is why I'm actually happy he's leaving. He would never have done that. And I think that's what's wrong with the reflection of Capaldi's Doctors, because he's seen on as, heartless and being mean. But, after I saw Thin Ice, I kind of got it. I wish that had been explained earlier, and especially on the Orient Express episode, that should have been pulled into the first, or at least that mention should have at least led me into why the 12th Doctor is like this, why he seems so heartless, because he can't save everybody, and that's fine. But to laugh at your companion as a practical joke when you've just, basically just broke her heart, no. The 7th Doctor was sorry. At the end of it, the 10th Doctor was sorry, and even kind of Tom Baker was like, "Listen, I had to do this. I had to." And I
don't even know if Tom Baker ever apologized for tricking Leela.
I kind of accepted that because he was more alien than anything else, but he had to. I just could not see any of the Doctor laughing at their companion, like, "Ha ha ha! I fooled you," and it was all Nardole's idea. I just saw. It's the reason why I hate Moffat guiding the 12th Doctor along.
I'll be honest, isn't that a way to break the tension, having the Doctor, laugh after that
I thought they were breaking the tension. It's with all the guards laughing too. It was like,
no, that is not his character at all.
God,
in the 12 lives that he existed, or whatever lives he's had, no, I could not see that. And the 6th Doctor, as manic and as strange and as weird and as temperamental, I would never see him pull this off.
Right.
The 7th Doctor even apologized to Ace and said, "Listen, I just could not bring myself to say that is a Doctor."
Right.
Neisha, what's your take on this? We haven't heard from you.
I'm just listening to you guys. I'm actually a medical provider by trade. I think most of you know that, right? I'm family practice, and I'm actually in neuropsychiatry trained. So I have to say that, Christian, I really love your response. I completely understand it. So when I said that what my number was for the show, understand that when I see a show, I see it in multiple places and from multiple, different paradigms, right?
Yeah, and it's not a criticism. You saw something that I didn't.
No, what I'm explaining is I'm completely validating what you're explaining, what you're saying. I completely get it. As overall, the entire intent of the show, I'm good with it. But that particular thing, what it did for me is completely solidify that Moffat had created the Doctor as an emotionally disconnected child. But we talked about it at the panel at MegaCon. And that actually I feel like he's extremely regressively becoming more emotionally disconnected because of the sense of frustration he has with not being able to do more, not being able to affect a larger change, or not being able to be the Doctor the way that we've seen him. I mean, Tennant was extremely emotionally labile, which, hey, that's why everyone loved him, right? And I feel that, Matt took that on as well. Now we have Peter Capaldi being an extremely, I don't know if you want to say disgruntled or just an emotionally volatile Doctor, because seeing, maybe for the first time, I don't know, that he is not truly affecting the change at a universal level, as I think maybe he has thought that he's been doing this entire time. And this entire episode, the entire wave of it has been built on emotion. So what I was saying before, Mark, is that if you look at the waxes and the wanes in the storylines, it's about who is he connecting to in that moment. And the love has more to do with positive endorphins. Positive endorphins push away negative imagery. They push away negative thoughts. They help you to sustain your own sense of strength and confidence. So maybe in the moments that you were seeing that laughter and he was building on that laughter, which is, by the way, not the first time he's done this. Maybe he's doing it because the monks have connected to us at a subliminal level through our emotions, and then that's how they're able to affect this imagery that manipulates us into seeing them as having been there since the beginning of time. And in those moments when you're building laughter, albeit it's extremely disconcerting and very upsetting, I'm thinking to myself, oh, wait a minute, it was a tool of manipulation to be able to create this positive and, that pushes away, hey, wait a minute, what? The monks wouldn't approve of this type of thing. So I guess, when I see something, I totally see it with my neuropsychiatric eyes. Sorry about that. I can't turn that off. But at the same time, I'm seeing it like, well, why has been the running current in the entire storyline? And why was love such an important element? It wasn't a love story. It was more about us understanding that to be able to find self-strength and a sense of confidence that allows us to go past all of these horrendous experiences that, these aliens are bringing to us, we have to be able to be solid in who we are, and we have to be able to love. And that's why I think Bill was able to project that image that overcame, because that image was something she created out of her own actualization of love, right? And it was an emotion that existed, right?
Right, but this is not what Doctor Who's about. In fact, I'm going to add the word uncharacteristic of what the Doctor is. This is not my Doctor. This is Toby Whitehouse's Doctor, and it drove me insane, and I feel like Moffat had some kind of influence in this. And I get what you're saying, but I'm sorry, for me, that's kind of a stretch. I know we're post-Time War, and he's got Gallifrey back, and the Time Lords are there. And the first thing in my mind is, what are the goal of the monks?
Well, see, that was my problem, too. The monks
what's their goal? Why are they coexisting instead of taking over? What's their goal? What is it?
They never explained it. That's why I said this could not. Maybe he's going to go on in another episode somewhere down the line.
And I'm accepting it, but for this episode, if it were a standalone, that's why I'm rating it 2. Now, the next episode might change my mind, but right now, as it stands, I just think there were so many missed opportunities, so many plot holes, and I mean, this episode really opened the floodgates. I mean, if Time of the Doctor had some plot holes that it was trying to fill in as best it could, this episode opened up the doors and said, plot hole, plot hole, plot hole, plot hole, plot hole. And I think they were trying to find how love works. I mean, as far as being a device to solve the problem. It doesn't work on Doctor Who.
Okay.
It just doesn't. I mean, in some cases for the companions to have a love and to be inspired, that's why the pyramids I rated a little bit higher. okay, fine, you know what, I don't like this device, but fine, I'll keep going with it. But as far as anything else as being the thing, no, the doctor has to be ahead of things.
Christian, do you like pyramids?
Pyramids, I thought was a cool idea, but like I said...
I'm just saying this because we all completely tore down Rings of Azkaban, which had a pyramid in it. And now you're giving this a 2. I'm just wondering if you have a thing against pyramids.
Oh, yeah, don't put a pyramid in anything anymore. I mean,
well, what about... Wait a minute, what about Sutek?
Then we can talk about that.
Pyramids of Mars?
But
Pyramids of Mars?
No, it has nothing to do with a pyramid.
Okay, I'm just playing with you.
You're a dork.
But Christian,
there's so many missed elements and so much potential. I kind of like the fact that the doctor was in a position in pyramids that he didn't know what to do. And he had to figure this out with the humans. And we kind of saw, but I would think that they would evolve with him and work something out. And if anybody knows the doctor, over the centuries that this planet has existed, over time that, you know, we've had militaries, one of the things we know we do is listen to the doctor. Mm-hmm. Don't go in there. Please don't do that. Please, you know, don't make this. Don't do that. And then it's almost like the human race doesn't learn.
Maybe that's the point.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm going for it. I'm just saying maybe that is a huge...
And that might be the point. Well, but why is he bothering saving them? If they're not going to learn it. They're not going to develop plot.
I think I've gone on record saying that the humans on the Earth of the Doctor Who universe are dumb as dirt. I think I've gone on the record by saying that. I guess that would fit that too. Let's talk about Missy for a second. Doctor has no solution, so he goes to Missy. What did you think about that, Christian?
Can I interject?
You know what? Go ahead, interject.
I always like well-done doctor-master discussions because he's really one of the few people who's ever been on the show that he can talk to as an equal and kind of as a friend. And Michelle Gomez just has fun with it when she's going, oh, Blizzard, you know, and saying, or, you know, Inferno when he finally gets it as it's going on. And it's just always fun to see the two playing off of each other when it works. And Missy does have her own adventures that we've never seen before, obviously.
Right.
It's also kind of weird when you think about it because, you know, that's Roger Delgado or that's Anthony Ainley, you know, could be sitting there or technically is sitting there. So you kind of put that in your head sometimes on your watch. When I watch that scene, I'm going, you know, that's the same guy, you know, I saw, you know, all those years ago throwing the doctor off a radio telescope, you know. So.
Well, going on to that note, I'm going to say, if I'm reading this right, and I know if we know the master, that is a ploy that I know along the line that's going to turn against the doctor. She's turning good. No. And that's the other thing. If the master is turning good, quote unquote, then he's using or she's using it as a device to get back at the doctor. She's trying to get his weakness. She's trying to open him up and say, yeah, I'm turning.
John Sim coming back.
That's why I'm saying I'm letting this go. And that's why I think in the next couple episodes, this is a weapon that she's going to use against the doctor somehow. This is, I'm turning good. I don't think if I read Roger Delgado right and stuff like that, this could be the master that could be sitting there. I don't think, because their doctors, if they were turning good, they were using as a weapon. They were trying to open up the doctor because the doctor's revealing his plan. Or he was, dropping his guard to go like, well, maybe this one time the master will turn good. But I kind of foresee this as going to be the ultimate weapon, the ultimate slap down in the doctor's face. And I think Missy is hamming it up pretty well, if that's the direction they're going, which I hope they are. Because then if she is turning good, then I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, that would be a huge, huge, huge end to the dynamic of Doctor Who in general from the beginning of this entire series. I don't buy it. I never buy anything that the Master does. You know darn well there's always double entendre going on through every single thing of it. And plus they leave it so open-ended so that there's always a way to back the Doctor into a corner because of his hope. And by the way, Christian, what I wanted to say was, from the beginning of all Doctors, no matter which Doctor it was, your Doctor Who, one of the things that's always been a running undercurrent, when everyone asks him, why do you protect the Earth of the entire universe of aliens that there are? Why do you always protect these little puny human beings? And it's because he loves them. Why does he love them? Because, they're like playthings sometimes, maybe, but, whatever you want to call it. he has developed a sense of love, a familial sense of love for them. So sorry, I wanted to say that love has actually been a running undercurrent all the way. Maybe not as in your face as they're doing it now, but still, I have always felt that.
I don't think it's a love per se. I think it's a fascination.
Oh,
I think he sees somebody like Erica, and he goes, this is the reason why I'm defending this planet, because of somebody like Erica. Yeah. Because of somebody like the Linda with a Y on Satellite 5. I see these people. Yeah, but when he sees these people, he's going, I don't think it's a love. I think it's he loves the universe in itself. He's that long speech at the end of time where he's, why take it over when you could see it? Let me take you with me. Let me show you what it can be. And
you think that's fascination? Okay, I agree with fascination, but fascination and cherishing and hope, they're all part of this one bigger spectrum. Just go with that. That's my thought.
Let's skip ahead to the ending, which brings up the thing I was mentioning before about the possible disease or disability that Bill suffers from. In the first story, the pilot, she is able to tell what her mother told her, but her mother's dead. But her mother taught her a very big lesson, and she couldn't have because she was dead. And now in this one, she's got tea and a cup of tea for her mother, and she's talking to her mother. Neisha, can you explain this? This is what I was getting at before. I don't think it's autism. I think it's...
So you're thinking we're looking at the mental health spectrum, right?
I think that Bill has a mental health problem in terms of delusional, that she sees her mother, it's not just that she remembers her mother, she couldn't. She was a little child. She is having conversations. She's believing that she's there.
Delusion is existing within something so much that it actually alters your perspective and your perception. Mm-hmm. And so in this particular case, I see it as, from my point of view, I actually see it as healthy visual imagery in order to find some sense of grounding. And I kind of like that she does it, but I don't know any more about it than that because all they did was give us this.
But I think it's also what helped stop the monks at the end, because the doctor didn't think, her mind shouldn't have been able to do what she did. For some reason, I think that there's got to be something with her mind that's different, because it should not have taken out all the photoshopped, and I say it again, the photoshopped monks from history and place her mother. Could she have some problem that is not a problem because it was good, but I don't think it's autism.
So they're looking at autism. People say autism spectrums. The spectrum is pretty wide. There's many, there's varying levels of functionality, and I'm not going to be the person, even though it's, a field I know, to make that, decision.
Well,
right?
I mean, you're the only one here capable of making that diagnosis.
Well, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this series has been about that, but it seems to be alluding to that. And the only reason why it started is that there were rumors in theory mills out there that said that she might be that. And then we see Erica, and then we see the doctor go blind. And I'm like saying, I just see that commonality. That's all it is. It's just a matter of what I perceive, not necessarily what is out there. But I like the fact that they are dabbling into it.
Yeah.
Well, you mean into the reality of what the world that we live in?
Because making it a real world situation,
right? Because we live in a diverse world, right? And hey, we got to. It looks like they're representing more equally, but what I see is straightforward representation. This is just the character that comes in, and this is who the character is.
Exactly.
They're specifically, let me highlight this. No. It's subtle. And it's highly muted. That's why I love Erica. I see Erica as a strong, confident scientist, and I love that about her. Nothing more, nothing less. That's who she is. And
exactly. And what we see on the screen is just a strong character and nothing more to it. There is nothing to that. One of my favorite lines, actually, is not from Doctor Who, but from the Star Trek universe. It's Malcolm McDowell's line where Geordi asks him what is normal, and he goes, "It's what everybody is, and you're not." And the thing is that normal is everyday, everything like this.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
This is the normal world. This is what we live and breathe and do in. This is what we have. But it is challenged because of our perception of what we think is normal. But this is it. And this is the way it should be. And we should be looking at people as characters and not upon anything else.
I mean, it's interesting how your concept and your thought here. Is it possible that any one being in this world, pure absolute faith in something could be enough to be able to sustain like what they're asking of Bill? I can't say yes or no, but I would like to believe it's possible. There's always hope that the human will and heart has the ability to overcome something to that extent, So,
right, and that's what I loved about this series. If they are putting it in there and they're putting in subtle notes, we're looking at this. This is what is being human.
Yep. I agree with you so much on that, and I think that's why I'm actually okay and look at the episodes with a lot of hope. Honestly, I do, even though I'm not a Moffat person. So.
Do we have any final words on either of these two episodes that we've just discussed? Christian?
I think it's Doctor Who. I'll keep watching forever, but I'm hoping Moffat has a nice little package at the end of everything, and I'm hoping Moffat doesn't disappoint us. I'm hoping he doesn't open things up for Doctor Who that make it look like... I think he's trying to be the top showman in an empty circus. And I'm trying to come up with a great analogy, and it's not coming up at all. But I meant, as far as the writers are concerned, these are the things that disappoint me about Moffat as a showrunner. Mm-hmm. I mean, he wants to make it extravagant. He wants to make it big. I totally understand that. In 50-some-odd years of Doctor Who, you're going to have to do one better than the year before. And I think he's taking in a direction where I can appreciate taking chances, but you better uphold what came before you. And just like Kill the Moon, being an episode that I've never seen Doctor Who before, never knew about the history or the mythos, would have probably been an okay episode. But knowing like episodes like Moonbase and other things, and the amount of times he's probably been to the moon, I'm like, where did that come from? What's with the spiders? Why are they killed by Windex? I mean, what the hell is this?
Neisha, do you have any final words?
Oh, goodness. So I made a decision completely with the Capaldi era to see every episode as its own, because I'm sorry that, honestly, I feel like Moffat is constantly trying to throw everything in but the kitchen sink, and even sometimes the kitchen sink if it makes sense to him.
He has thrown in the kitchen sink several times, yes.
So I have literally, with the 40-something years of whatever watching, I'm like, okay, let me weed out what I think is extraneous and let me figure out where I think this fits into the Doctor. So, okay, my longtime fandom allows me to do that, and it probably does for Christian or for you, Mark. But when you're looking at a new era of Whovians, wow, he doesn't write this as a representation, I think, of what Doctor Who has been. I agree with Christian very much on it. At the same time, there are things to enjoy about it. There are elements to enjoy, and I do. Because why? I'm a loyal fan, right? So,
yes.
And I will continue watching exactly like you said. That's not going to change. No. And you know why? Because we're a very forgiving fandom.
We are, aren't we?
Forgiving fandom. That's why we are 50-something years and go.
My forgiveness is running out very fast.
One of the things is, and I know you called it photoshopping, but I did like that trippy opening, of all seeing the monks throughout time and even saving us from, the traditional monsters like the Daleks, the Cybermen, and the Silence. Yeah. And I thought that was kind of fun. Oh, I kind of like the fact, that you're doing some great world building, where you're seeing the world as run by the monks, and the fact that, we're willing to put up with stuff that's been there all the time, so it's business as usual to keep us under control. Or I kind of like that whole bit about the world of the monks as we live in it. As I said, I thought it was an interesting episode. It was a fun episode or intriguing episode. It doesn't bug me what's come before, or maybe it's not bugging me as it should. And I'm wondering if this is going to lead into the finale in some way. It looks like we're getting a standalone adventure next week with the Ice Warriors.
Mm.
Well, I just want to say, I did like these stories. I did like these two. I do see your point, Christian, 100%. Now that I rethink it, it was a cruel prank to play. And hopefully we will not get any worse than that in the last 5 stories with Moffat, because you've got 4 more coming up, and then the Christmas episode, and then Moffat is gone. So let's hope that the season recovers, at least if you were on the side of Christian and giving it like a 2, or the season continues to be amazing and the best Capaldi season that we've had so far. I want to thank Neisha and Juan. Thank you both for coming on our panel and reviewing these 2 episodes with us.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yep, thanks for inviting me. It was great.
We will have our new episode next week, reviewing the story with those Victorians on Mars and the Ice Warriors and all that fun stuff that looks pretty interesting. Let's hope it's executed well. Just to let you know, I will be appearing at Time Lord Fest Jacksonville on June 17th, hosted by Ken Spivey of the Ken Spivey Band. It's taking place, like I said, on June 17th, Saturday, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the University of North Florida at the Adam W. Herbert University Center. You can get tickets by Eventbrite. Just go to our website, MarkWHO42.net, and on the right side of the screen, there is a link to the Time Lord Fest page. And it's going to be a fun thing besides me being there representing MarkWHO42. We're going to have a live teleconference with Chase Masterson, who plays Vienna in Big Finish and is also, of course, Lita from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Also, Lewis Robinson will be there. Debbie Vigay and Dr. Scott Vigay will be there. Ken Spivey Band will be performing Noise Complaint, the world-famous nerd and genre-based Doctor Who plus video game-themed tap dance group will be there too. That sounds really weird, doesn't it?
What?
They're a multi-fandom tap dance group. They bring fandom to their element of tap dance, and they usually will do something specific to a theme.
Good. I can't wait to see Noise Complaint. I hope my panels are not opposite them. Don't forget to go to our Facebook page, MarkWHO42. Tweet us at MarkWHO42. Go to our Path and Tumblr pages, MarkWHO42.
We definitely want to give a shout out to our sponsors, 9.9 Comics, Famous Faces and Funnies. Also, iHeartRadio, of course, that we mentioned. You can hear us on iHeart. We also have our own app, and as well as the Cosplay Convention Center. You can see our information on their site, as well as if you're looking for a convention in the area, in the country, and if you're looking to see where MarkWHO42 is going to be next, we are on their site. It is a perfect site to go on and see if you are looking for a particular genre, if you're looking for a particular convention, when it's going to be taking place, conventions near you. They have that database broken down so that it is easier and streamlined for you to find which conventions you want to go to and what genres you want to see.
All right. Well, I've got 4 more weeks to come up with a real closing. So until then, I will continue using my stolen one, movie sign!
Oh, jeez.
See you next time, guys. Bye.
Oh, boy. Bye, guys.
Bye.
There were humans on Mars in Victorian times.
No, there weren't. Friday asked for my help.
In return for what?
Halt! This could be the entrance to an Ice-Warrior hive.
Friday has been using me all along. His aim was to get back to Mars and find his queen.
Rise, my Ice Warriors! Rise!
I dare say the British Army is more than a match for a bunch of upright crocodiles.
You don't stand a chance against the Ice Warriors.
MarkWHO42 was written and presented by Mark Baumgarten and Christian Basil. This episode was edited, directed, and produced by Mark Baumgarten and co-produced by Christian Basil. Visit MarkWHO42.net, where you can register and become part of the Universe Army. We can be contacted by email at mark@MarkWHO42, subject line, ? If you'd like a chance to be a guest on our radio show, send an email to our Media Relations Director, Christian Basil, at markwho42media@yahoo.com. You can have MarkWHO42 entertain at your next event or convention. Go to heroesonhand.com/MarkWHO42. Space Coast Comics is a free monthly magazine found in over 120 locations currently throughout Brevard County, parts of Osceola, Volusia, and Indian River County in Florida, and available in Chicago. Follow them on Facebook to learn more. Doctor Who and its properties are owned by the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation. This show is owned and copyrighted by Mark Baumgarten, 2017. This is Krypton Radio.